You know who your daddy is, don't you? Gary, if you want to play on this team, you answer me when I ask you, who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Gary? Who's your daddy? You. Uh-huh.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're talking about Ravager Stitcher. This is I'm struggling to put into words like just what I'm feeling about this guy. And I took him to tier 16. Some of you convinced me to take him up to tier 16 when I was talking about my characters who I was bringing up to DD5. Again, he's going. A few people mentioned Ravager Stitcher, and you guys convinced me to do Ravager Stitcher. Incredibly cheap in the gear, but also stat-wise very powerful, especially in his health and surprisingly his damage stat. His damage stat itself in terms of rankings, not that good, but his basic does a lot of piercing damage, and when he goes against defense down, it automatically gets a 100% damage increase against targets with defense down. It's absolutely bonkers what he does. Like you saw in the opening with the Mimi and stuff, he basically one-shot Doom. Did like 700,000 damage, almost 800,000 damage on Doom. And it's not just Doom either. He can actually do some really good work against other characters too. I actually took him in against Eternals and did really well there. Did a 530k crit against Icarus and destroyed him. So we're going to talk about Stitcher and just kind of go over this and do a little bit of meme posting today. This is going to be a fun video. If you guys do enjoy this video, you do find it helpful, I guess. I don't know if you guys are going to find it helpful, but hopefully you guys do enjoy the video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's just talk about Stitcher. So yeah, it's all got to do with his rework. Like, he was one of the, really with this Ravager rework, he really came out on top because his health stat got a massive boost that's just absolutely ridiculous. For example, my 5 red, 7 yellow Stitcher at tier 16, 615k health, right? Okay, let's take a look at, say, my 7 red, 7 yellow tier 15 Silver Surfer, 636. So just 20,000 more health for a 7 red star, tier 16 or tier 15 Silver Surfer. Like, he's not too far ahead in terms of health. And actually, when you go and do the full breakdown of the stats, and here you go, Ravager Stitcher is at 21. Move this guys over a little bit so you guys can see. 21, right there, just ahead of Silver Surfer. Like, look at that, 15,000 more health, equal stars, gear, level, everything. More health than Silver Surfer. So, yeah, Stitcher's a chunky boy. He's very thick.
Damn, boy, he's thick, boy!
He is going to be able to do a lot of good stuff with this, and it's just kind of ridiculous. But also, this is where you start to tie in his Striker ISO on Stitcher as well. I've got to go all the way back down to find him. It's funny too, like tier 16, 5 red, 7 yellow, and he's like only 156k power. And it's because I don't have the 2 T4s on his special ult and his passive. You don't need those, but yeah, his health, pretty solid there. He's going to get a 50% health boost just for being on War Offense with T'Challa. This will go up to 900,000 health on this guy when he's on this Ravager team at this point. So it all comes down to the fact that he's incredibly easy to gear. He got a very significant boost to his rework with massive health, but also significant boost to his damage. In terms of damage ranking, he's like 82, 84, something like that. But that piercing damage, it's all piercing. So that's when that damage starts to go up. But also remember, does give him a 30% boost in damage as well. So for instance, if we go back over here and we look at damage, he is going to be all the way down here. Here it is, 76. Sorry, I was off. So he's sitting about 34,000. A 30% boost to that, I can't do the math off the top of my head. You're talking about, what, 12,000 more? So at that point, you're talking 46, which that can't be right. Hold on, I gotta do the napkin math here. 34,000 with a 30% boost. That doesn't sound right. times 1.3. No, it is 44,000. Okay, so that's more damage than I thought. Okay, yeah. So when you're talking that kind of damage number, look what he starts to get into familiar territory with. Like, here's Black Bolt, Silver Surfer. Now, keep in mind, some of these characters will get damage boosts as well. So this is not like the final rankings, but you know, this is what you're gonna look at in terms of damage. Some of these characters, like, these are very strong characters with a lot of damage. Like, for instance, Icarus will get 50% boost on his damage. I believe Dagger gets some as well in hers. So, you know, it's not necessarily saying that he's gonna be like top 10 in terms of damage, but very significant boost to his damage as well. And that's where things come into play. So really, at the end of the day, like, this character is just absolutely bonkers. And I'm gonna show a little bit of what I was doing with him in terms of just trying to get that damage boost, or just trying to see what I can do with that damage. So for instance here, this is against, you know, this is the Eternals and Doom. And really, my goal here is to see, like, what I can do to maximize damage. So what I want to do is get vulnerable on Icarus with someone. Here, I can use Ravager Boomer, which is easy. If I brought in Bruiser instead of Emma, which I do for some fights, it wouldn't be too bad either. I can use Bruiser to flip defense up and a defense down. And then, oops. And then here we go, right there. Well, we'll go back just a second here. Basic again. Boom. Look at that, 531k crit against Icarus there in war. So this was like, when I saw this after I did the Doom stuff, I mean, we just started doing the memes. Like I'm just gonna start throwing up memes here of just and also, like, just this like ragdoll animation that Icarus is going. It looks like his head separate a little bit there. Like, just being able to see this and knowing what Stitcher can do, like, that's just absurd. And also goes back to having that Striker ISO on him, where his bonus attack against someone with 2 stacks of vulnerable on them will deal, you know, what is it, 15%? Or no, it's just 5%. So it's not much here, but when you go up to level 5 in the future, it's going to be 15% of his max health. So right now, it's not doing a lot. I mean, only 5% of 900,000. That's... what is that? That's like 45,000. So you're not talking a lot there. I think, yeah, 1% is about 9,000. So you're talking about 45,000 damage bonus in with the Striker T2 ISO there. But also it's bumping up the damage on him. So, you know, it's just one of those things, like, he just... I don't really know what else to say at this point beyond, like, it's really, like, just meme territory. Because think about it, like, if you lose, like, if you see Ravager Stitcher just wipe someone off the map here, like, how ridiculous is that? So yeah, like, it's just really funny watching him do this. And we're trying here with another fight. This is against New Warriors and Doom with Shuri there. Now, I've also had to commit a cardinal sin with the ISO on my team. In order to maximize this with Eternals, with this fight, I had to do a cardinal sin in which I put Skirmisher on Yondu, and you should not do this. Like, I did this once. Do as I say, not as I do. Never put Skirmisher on Yondu. This was just to get that boost and focus for him, because without it, I was having trouble stripping the defense up off of Icarus and Cersei. And then it was very difficult for me to do the stupid damage with Stitcher. Again, like, you should not be doing this. This is just, like, posting, like, what is the absurdity of these guys together. But, yeah. All right, so we've got Blind. Now we're going to... and this is where I screwed up here, in that I did not put... yeah, see, I didn't get rid of defense up on Doom just yet. Plus, everything's got cleansed. So, there we go. There, yeah, this is the one. This is the one. So I had to bring in... I brought in Bruiser for this. And remember, keep in mind, this is a tier 12, 5 red, 6 yellow Bruiser with Skirmisher ISO on him, going against this tier 15, like, double 2.5 times his power, flips that defense up and the defense down on Doom, and then that paves the way 409k on that first hit from Bruiser. We get the assist from Boomer, doing another 238k, and then a 425k crit on that second hit from Stitcher. So, like, he's definitely a Doom killer, and he can beat Icarus, but you gotta do things just right. You can't have Icarus fall below 40% health, and you gotta make sure that defense is down, and it will work. So there are uses for having Stitcher, like getting this tier 16 and using him for DD5. It's not all bad. You're going to find uses for him, and it's really just like when I put the tier 16. I guess the best way to say this is when I put the tier 16 on Stitcher, I did not expect this. Like, I knew his health pool was going to be massive. I could get some solid healing from him inside of DD5, and I will be taking T'Challa up as well into DD5. But yeah, he's incredibly cheap, and we're gonna show this real quick. I gotta find his gear stats here. So if you want to take him up to 15 to 16, 540 SBCs, only, yeah, also his unique gear piece requires bio, which is weird. He's a tech character, but requires bio for his gear piece. Only one teal set with the mini uniques required, so that's not bad. From 14 to 15, only another 540 SBCs, and then 13 to 14, 300 SBCs. So you are about 1,200 SBCs, your orange catalyst, to take Stitcher from 13 up to 16. That's not bad. He is relatively cheap, and with this rework, and for those of you wondering, yes, I am probably going to be taking T'Challa up as well. In fact, I say probably, I will be taking T'Challa up to tier 16 for DD5. My Cosmic was looking a little sketchy because like I was using the Eternals and maybe Surfer, but that's a lot of Mystic gear. So that's like Mystic gear I could be using for characters inside DD5, like Adam Warlock. So I was kind of messing with things around there and figuring out. So yeah, T'Challa is my next tier 16 gear priority for tech, and also relatively cheap, 600 SBCs, 13 to 14. From 14 to 15, about 960. So that's a little more expensive. You're talking about 1,500 there, and then another 420 there. So it's about 2,000 SBCs, but also only 3 teal pieces, only 2 sets of mini uniques here. So he's a little more expensive in terms of tier 16, but also he's going to be able to help really with boosting health for Ravager Stitcher inside of DD5, but also he's going to help cleanse negative effects off of him and other Ravager allies. Now, in terms of Doom Raid, again, this is not something you want to be using at 2.3, but nothing at Tech 2.3 really works right now. So, you know, anytime Scopely wants to give us a Tech Raid team, that'd be great. But this guy will work at 2.0, 2.1. That's what I've been doing. I haven't really gotten the footage here for you guys to show you guys, but they work just fine at 2.0. And 2.1, they're still holding on, so they're not too bad there. So, yeah, that's really going to wrap it up here. This is really just kind of like memeing on Stitcher and just like watching people get destroyed by Ravager Stitcher. There's plenty more combinations out there. In fact, if you guys want to use him in some kind of combination with defense down characters, like I imagine that Stitcher and Kestrel can make some kind of nasty combination. 2 tech characters working for the Doom Raid. There's definitely something to be done there with Stitcher and other defense down characters. But let me know what you guys think down below. Does this have you guys considering Stitcher a little bit more? Probably not, but did you guys expect to see this kind of damage out of Ravager Stitcher? Let me know down below. But as always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure that like button, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.